fitting the bracket and arm to the DRO display. Just some tiny little Allen bolts that go in the bottom here. And then I fitted the bracket to the wall so that the DRO could swing 180 degrees left to right across the wall. It'll do me, Jimmy. Connecting the cables from the readers. It goes through a zero-in process and then that's it. Here I'm reinstalling the way wipers. And just nipping the screw up very gently until it starts to put some tension on the felt. These plates were in really rough state when I got them, so what I did was I took them all back to bare metal, and then I sprayed all the letters and numbers, so to speak, with black paint. Then I masked that off and I sprayed, as you just see there, the red, and then afterwards I gently sanded through until I picked up the copper plate below on all the tops of the numbers and the borders, and then I went over it with a scalpel blade to tidy up any sort of edges, and then I lacquered the whole plate. And I did that on all of the measurement and name plates, and they come up really well. I was quite happy with them. Here I'm just reattaching it with some hammer rivets. Now I got that door level with the filler. The nameplate sits nice and flush and there's no big hollow underneath it anymore. Being careful as I hammer the rivets to bring the hammer down dead square so I don't hit my paint or my lacquer. Again, because it's going to be used, this lathe, I decided to upgrade the tool post as well. So I went with a quick change tool post. It come with, I think it was 4 or 5 tool holders. I've got a parting tool. I've got some left and right threads as well. And this is the actual main post. But what I didn't realise is, although it's made for the boxford, it didn't fit my compounds. The shaft that's currently holding that tool post that you can see in the video now was a thinner diameter. So the first job on the lathe was to make a thicker shaft with the same size thread top and bottom so it could go into the compound. But as you can see here, the one on the right's got a lot more meat to it. And if I put the new tool post on the old one, you can see how slack it was around there. But with the post that I've just machined, it's now a lot thicker, and therefore there's no play now. So quite an achievement really, from where the lathe's come from to its first little job. And the highs and loosen the lows. Rough bit of steel that I've got in here that I'm going to use to make me next little component. Was really ropey on the outside, so there was no way I was going to get it 0-0, but here I got it to within 2 thou, and when you consider the rust on the outside, I was more than happy with that. The benefits of a 4-jaw. That little nut basically on the end of the compound and on the fine adjustment on the cross slide, the two little handles have got this nut that goes on top of the handle. So you've got the handle that goes on the shaft, a grub screw, and then this little nut which has got a chamfer on the edge and a slot through it, and one of those was missing. So here I'm just making another nut basically, so that they both have one and match. Here I've just paired it back to the right outside diameter. I've put a chamfer on the front, I've put a hole down the centre. As you can see, I'm now currently tapping it to put the thread on, and then eventually I'll part it off. And there she is. And there's the handle I was on about, and then that goes on that shaft. And that was a thumb screw that I made that again was missing. I think it was the compound had one, or the cross slide had one, and the other didn't, so I just made another one to copy the same. And then here I made a new shaft for the door hinge. The old one was really chewed up where it had been turning, and the grub screw had just ground a groove into it, and every time you put the side door on, it would just hang forward. That was a very simple task of just machining it down to the correct size for both ends. Here you can see it's a little tight, but that was the intention, to stop it from leaning forward. Already made 3 components, and it's earning a keep. these knobs, two of them were really badly pitted and dinked. I don't know what they'd done. It looked like it had been hammered with a screwdriver in places. So what I did was use some milliput and put that on, sanded them back round so that I had a nice smooth surface, and then I used some base coat black and 2K lacquer and just doused it in the lacquer so it had a real nice heavy build up, and again they turned out quite good. Here I'm just removing a little spacer. When you buy these, they come with a spacer to help you set the parameters between the reader and the scale. I'm just removing that, as you can see. And then to prevent issues in the future, I made a cover to go over here to try and minimise the amount of swarf that can become an issue, so to speak. There are wipers on the reader, but I figured rather than just relying on those, if I could put a cover in place to deflect it before it got to those wipers, then hopefully that will help in the future. So I just bent up a bit of alley and cut it as and where I needed the reliefs, as you can see here. And I've just used some Velcro so that I can remove it easily should I need to get in there and clean it or do any servicing. And there you go, that is the completed lathe, fully restored. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's been really good fun, and I'm sure you'll agree. She looks 100 times better than she did when we first started. I hope you've enjoyed this 4-part series. If you have, please consider subscribing. It really would help me and the channel out. And then with a bit of luck, I'd like to build a community of people that we can sort of all have a chinwag and a chat about various different things. And yeah, just looking forward to building the channel as we go. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care all.